Yeah.
Surf bro kind of thing. And that's all of that is there, but it's not all that's there. There's deeper layers within surfing community that are profound. And there are lots of people that think very deeply about what they do in their life and what they do in the water. And it doesn't, this is a different conversation, but it's something I think about, is the way surfing was sold to, a mass audience from the 60s through, up until probably the last 10 years was, this very dumbed down, version of surfing.
Right.
Yeah, the Gidget.
Right.
Surf. But that goes all the way through the 90s with this sort of, like, certain surf brands and how they laid out their films. And even to this day, if you're watching, I don't know, some Red Bull programming, it's a bit bro-y. And reiterates those sort of tropes that we're so used to being bombarded with. But if you were to look at art as you do on a different level in comparison to the act of surfing and kind of how much time people dedicate to it, for yourself, do you see convergent lines there?
Oh, yeah.
Could you expand upon them a little bit?
So are you asking me convergent lines within my own art in surfing, or someone who is surfing on a high level for someone who's making art on a high level?
Doesn't have to be on a high level, just maybe the act itself of creating an artwork and the act of surfing.
Yeah, well, they're both disciplines, at least as far as I'm concerned. They're both things you have to invest a certain amount of time into, like understanding the medium, understanding the materials, what are the possibilities, and then once that is at least on some level understood, then you're able to be creative and not be held back by the materials. So, for painting, I don't have to think about the materials of painting because it's something I've been doing my whole life. And I know how to get a color I want. I know how to get a viscosity I want. I know how things are going to dry. I can, in my mind, fully know how to execute the painting. And with surfing, once you've put in the time and you know body positioning, timing, where to be to catch the wave, how to handle an oncoming section, when to bail, when to grab rail and just hold on and make it through, how to turn properly, where to turn, how to read a wave, 2 or 3 maneuvers down the line, not just what's in front of you, but what's coming. That all takes time and experience, and there's no shortcut for any of it. It's really trial and error. And it's both, for me anyways, it's all very improvised. And I think that's why I gravitate towards the work that I make and the way I make it, and surfing and the way that I surf. You don't know what's going to happen. You paddle out, you don't know. It could look like garbage, and then the wind shifts, the tide shifts, and it could come up and be amazing, and vice versa. You don't know. And it's the same coming down into the studio. I don't know. I might be ready to roll, have lots of momentum, personally, ready to make moves, and then just things come up in the day and I just couldn't do what I thought I was going to do, but you keep right on moving.
So Kris, I mean, we've loved just talking with you, and I feel like we could talk for another. There are so many other side conversations we can have about your creativity and about the projects that you're working on, and we'd love to have you back at another time to talk about things. I know you've developed a brand called Hullhead, and you're working on a brand of wetsuits, and so we definitely want to have you back. But we wanted to kind of play a little game with you, and it's called On the Clock. All right. So basically, you have to answer these questions without elaboration. All right. Without elaborating,
Are you looking for like a yes or no answer?
Well, this is kind of the surprise. You just got to answer the question and move on. Are you ready?
Probably like 5 words or less, right, Kris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're on the clock. You ready?
Hit it.
All right. What are you currently riding?
Displacement Hall.
What are you currently listening to?
Devo.
What are you currently reading?
Anything I can on synthesizers and sound synthesis.
Where can you find the best clam cakes in the state of Rhode Island?
I don't know. I don't eat clam cakes.
Oh, out, bro.
Being honest, man. I'm being honest.
Yep.
When was the last time you dropped in on someone?
Yesterday.
Was it on purpose or was it on accident?
On purpose.
There you go. Did you feel badly?
Definitely not.
What was your most recent memorable wave?
You can elaborate on this one.
Yesterday, actually. There's a couple of them. I won't name spots, even though they're not secret spots. But there was some outside sets kind of coming through a point that I frequent. And I was on a 10.6 glider. And I probably could have been on something a little shorter, but I've been surfing the last few days, so I just wanted to take it easy. And I was kind of working the inside of this certain spot, the inside, it just stands up a little better. But every now and again, I noticed an outside set would connect to the inside and then kind of pull you along the inside wave too. So I kind of made my way out and paddled to the top, kind of out past everybody, and waited for one of these waves. And then one just kind of jacked up right in front of me. And so I spun and got it and just kind of weaved my way in. This one in particular break, it can kind of be a fast takeoff, but it's quick turn, quick cut back, and kind of hug the shoulder for a little bit and wait for the inside to kind of form up, and then it kind of really takes off again. So just kind of, wrapped around, hugged the corner a little bit, and then just went all the way into the inside. And then being on a longer board like that, a big board or a glider board, you kind of look at your spot a little differently. So I just paddled, since I was so far over, I just paddled to the next break over and caught a few waves over there, and then paddled back, got another couple on the inside, and got out and went home.
Oh, see, I know where you were, and I'm not going to disclose it, but I can see it in my head. And so what board were you riding yesterday?
I was on a 10.6 Little Designs Pathfinder. And I've had gliders in the past, and I like them in theory, but I hadn't really connected with them so much. I'm not really a longboarder, but in the, being on the East Coast, and especially in the summer, you need some length to go surfing if you're going to have fun. And I just want to be really clear. I go surfing to have fun. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm not trying to show anybody something. I'm surfing for me and my reasons, and that's it. And
right.
one thing I love about these bigger boards is that you can go surf waves that nobody sees, and you can get waves before anybody else, and you can surf kind of across the beach instead of just having to paddle back to the same spot every time. So it's really opened up the coastline for me.
That's awesome.
And just made, well, I was talking with a good friend of mine yesterday. Like, part of surfing is like complaining about crowds, and it's summer, where like in a pandemic. So a lot of people are been pent up and they're coming out and they want to surf. And it's, the scene and the lineup is a little, there's tension. I'll put it that way, especially at a Point Break where, everyone's kind of focused in one spot. And I don't want that in my head. So I'll get a couple, at the main peak. And especially if I'm on one of these glider boards, I'll just move around and just pick up little auxiliary waves and kind of work my way down to one end and then paddle back and like take lefts to work my way back to where I was. And it just changes the way I think of surfing, where I surf, how I surf, and also just I feel more fulfilled when I'm done.
That sounds great. Well, Kris, we want to thank you for your time. It was a pleasure learning more about your process and your passion for surfing. I'm going to be heading up through your neck of the woods tomorrow morning very early to a spot north of Yarmouth. I'm not going to tell you guys anything more than that. But yeah, we really appreciate you being the first person on this new series of art-related swell sessions. It's going to be a good series, probably coming out twice a month. So if you have any suggestions for us, who we should interview, we'd love to hear it.
I'll reach out off recording. I want to finish answering one question. I don't think I've finished. If I have
right. Yeah. And Tyler's going to cut this up too, so you can, we can plug it back in and everything.
Cool. The question was what the collaboration was for Rhode Island Surf Co. In Westerly, and I spoke about the surfy art editions. Well, he approached me so right after the new year to kind of come up with a way to collaborate as an artist to do a graphic for his shop that we would then put on, do prints, possibly make a painting, but then do like tumblers, possibly there's talk of maybe doing like a skateboard kind of thing, and kind of have the same image, but then put it across a different product line, basically, which is something that I've always wanted to do as an artist, but just never had the opportunity. So after we've kind of nailed things down a little bit more, and this was supposed to happen in July 4th, but because of the pandemic, because we started talking about this before that, everything's kind of been pushed back. But I came up with this image using the same process as the surfy art editions, but the photographs that I'm pulling from are photos that I've taken myself recently with a 35 millimeter water camera that I have. And what's interesting and cool for me is I took these images as just something for me to have, but then this collaboration came up, and I had these images on my hard drive. I was like, oh, I can use these plus my older paintings and make this new image. So I just finished up doing the test prints for a block print I'm doing with them yesterday, and I just posted that on Instagram.
So, Kris, if as we're kind of like winding things down here, is there a website or an Instagram handle that people can check out your work at?
It's Kris Chatterson. Kris KRIS Chatterson on Instagram. I have a website. It's krischatterson.com. The website is purely just my abstract painting. My Instagram is more kind of a little bit of everything.
Right. And something that we didn't talk about very much, but if people are interested to see some other things that you're interested in, could you tell us just a quick bit about Hullhead?
So Hullhead came out of doing the Hullaholic Instagram, which that can be a completely different, separate conversation.
Definitely, but people should know about it. People should know about it.
Well, it's an Instagram I started